Hello and welcome to another episode of the Good Boxing Podcast with your host Josh Size, and I'm back with another episode today. We have a bunch of good shit going on in boxing. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't been this excited in a very, very long time. First things first, we have Canelo Alvarez back in the news, and evidently there are a bunch of offers that are out for the pound for pound number one in the world, Canelo Alvarez, the cash cow, the king of Mexico, the king of the 168-pound division. The first offer on the table is from Premier Boxing Champions, where Al Heyman is offering Canelo Alvarez the very formidable and truthfully very talented Jermall Charlo. I feel like Jermall Charlo doesn't get the credit he deserves, given the fact that look, at 160 pounds, he hasn't fought the creme de la creme. When your biggest fight is Sergey Derevchenko, it's kind of hard to make you a legitimate contender to beat Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez has fought everyone from literally every division. I know people like to tarnish the name of Canelo, and I have rooted against Canelo several times, and I apologize for that because he's pretty much answered everything that I had a question for. At this point, the only thing that beats Canelo is age or maybe an injury or a punch he doesn't see, and that's possible with any boxing match. However, the Jermall Charlo fight, I think it's a lot better of a fight than Makabu. I think that's his name, the guy from Cruiserweight. I never really liked that fight, and I kind of thought it was, in my opinion, I hate this word because people use it a lot, but in my opinion, cap is perfect. Cap means it's pretend, it's not real. But I feel like Canelo's trainer, Eddie Reynoso, is essentially trolling at this point. I feel like Canelo is just a name you could throw around with anyone and it's fun to talk about and it makes headlines. I know a lot of people ran with the story that he was going to move to cruiserweight, and in my opinion, I didn't think it was legitimate. Only reason being is technically the man at cruiserweight is not on the same level as Canelo, let's be honest. However, the only thing we would want to see is a knockout from Canelo Alvarez, for Canelo Alvarez. And let's be honest, Canelo's not going to get knocked out by Mukabu. He's not going to get touched by Mukabu. I feel like it's just not really possible for that guy to win the fight. It's a cherry pick, and if I'm mispronouncing his name, I'm sorry. But I just don't think he is a legitimate threat to Canelo. So the Charlo fight is a formidable opponent in his actual division. I mean, 168 is probably where the fight would be. I don't see Canelo going down to 160 to fight for Charlo's titles. I see Charlo moving up. He has a big frame, way taller than Canelo, and I see him moving up to actually compete for undisputed. The fight's a lot bigger, and I feel like Jermall Charlo's a way bigger name than the other guy Canelo was going to fight at cruiserweight. Now, I also heard that there is another fight on the table where Eddie Hearn is offering Canelo Bivol. Look, Bivol is a very formidable fighter. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that I don't think he can fight. He has skills, he can move. I just don't think Bivol presents anything that Canelo has to really worry about. If he moves, okay. He's fought Caleb Plant. He's fought Billy Joe Saunders. He's fought a plethora of guys that can move, and eventually he catches them. That pressure he has, that jab he sits on from time to time, and his body work is second to none in boxing. Sure, the movement will give him some issues for a little while, but eventually I do see him catching Bivol, and Bivol just doesn't have, in my opinion, enough power to keep Canelo off of him. The only reason why I think Charlo is a better fight is Charlo has the kryptonite for Canelo, potentially, on paper. He has a very hard right hand, and Canelo gets hit with right hands from time to time. Caleb Plant was countering him beautifully in that fight. If you look back, you've seen the compilations of him shoulder rolling, shooting that right hand. Now, Charlo hits a lot harder than Caleb Plant. I don't think he moves as well as Caleb Plant. and is a little slower, in my opinion, than Caleb Plant. But I like the fact that he's a little faster. I like the fact that he's actually a 168 pounder. It's not like he's a small guy moving from 147 all the way up to 168. He's fought the majority of his career at 160 and moving up to take a test and really test himself on PBC. I feel like Charlo deserves a big fight. I think he's been in the game long enough, and I think more people need to see him on the big stage and see how he does against an elite champion. A lot of people say, "Hey, who did Charlo fight?" How do you fight somebody if you're never given a chance? I mean, Caleb Plant had never fought anyone of the level of Canelo, and we got to see Caleb Plant exhibit his skills. You saw that he was a masterful boxer. He lost, yeah, but he lost to Canelo Alvarez. There's nothing wrong with that. But he belonged there. He showed that he was on the same level as Canelo Alvarez. He showed that he belonged in the ring. The pay-per-view was worth it. We had a good show. The rivalry, the build-up, everything was good about that fight. Canelo caught him, and that was that. But regardless, the respect was there. Caleb got his respect. He wasn't this protected fighter. He showed that, look, I'm a world-class fighter. I fell only to the best of the best in the world, the number one pound for pound, which anyone right now would lose to Canelo. There's not a man out there that would beat him. However, the second fight, I'm not too sure about. Triple G. Again, Eddie Hearn comes with a 2-fight deal, and Eddie Hearn has been parading around like, hey, I promote Canelo. I'm Canelo's advisor. Why don't you fight Bivol and then also fight Triple G? I don't want to see the Triple G fight. I think Triple G deserves a payday, and I think he, lost out on a big bag of money with Murata. I feel bad for him. He's been waiting on the bench, and given the fact that he's on the older side, I just don't see Triple G beating Canelo in any facet. Sure, the 2 fights were great. I think Triple G at the time arguably could have won both fights. I'm not going to sit here and say that the first fight I didn't feel Triple G won. I felt Triple G won, but upon rewatching, I don't think it was a draw, but it wasn't as bad of a robbery as I remember. But I did have Triple G winning. I thought he controlled Canelo with the jab. He landed some tremendous power punches. And truthfully, I don't see how he didn't deserve that rematch, which he got. And in the rematch, again, another close fight. Triple G arguably could have won the second fight. But Canelo, given the fact that he was going forward, he landed some very damaging punches, and Triple G's face looked horrendous. And Canelo's Canelo. You get that Canelo bias sometimes, maybe. I don't know. But I had no problem with Canelo winning the second fight. A third fight, I just don't want to see it. Triple G is not going to be able to keep up with the pace and the pressure of Canelo. Canelo's in the prime of his life. He's fought bigger guys that have punched harder than Triple G, guys that present what Triple G brings to the table, but have done it better. Kovalev hits tremendously hard. I know Kovalev doesn't have the same jab that Triple G does, maybe not the same chin, but I saw Triple G get lit up by Sergey Derevchenko. And since then, I just don't see him being the same fighter. Did he lose something against Canelo? Maybe, but I do think age, a change in philosophy and trainer is taking its toll, and you can't be a warrior forever. At a certain point, you have to realize that it comes to an end. And I think that's what happened for Triple G. I'm not saying he shouldn't fight. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a payday. I wouldn't be mad if Triple G did get a payday with Canelo, because Canelo can do whatever he wants. Again, I'm just a podcaster. I'm commenting on what I would like to see, and I like to see competitive fights that I don't know who's going to win. And in a fight with Triple G and Canelo, how can you say that Triple G is going to lose? I mean, how can you say that Triple G is going to beat Canelo? Doesn't have the power advantage right now. Doesn't have the speed advantage. So I don't know what to say about it. And I truthfully just don't want to see it. And I get Canelo, I get Eddie Hearn, I get what Eddie Hearn's trying to do, but a Canelo Alvarez fight, one, is an expensive fight, so people are gonna not want to see another fight with someone that they haven't seen in that golden age, Triple G. We haven't seen the golden aura. We haven't seen the era of, drama show. He's knocking out guys that like Shirameta and whoever he's gonna knock out. He's gonna knock out Murata too if they do fight. Is that really how you transition to a Canelo fight? I don't know. But it's really exciting to hear Canelo's gonna come back for the Cinco de Mayo weekend. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Truthfully, I'm not too mad at what I've heard, but I just really don't want to see a Triple G fight. Bivol, maybe you take a one fight deal with Matchroom. Canelo, you're the biggest free agent in the world. Everyone is going to want to work with you. And I get Eddie Hearn is trying to protect Canelo, but at the same time, he's trying to lock down Canelo. He's the golden goose. And I don't blame him. But work with PBC. The PBC fight with Caleb Plant, in my opinion, was promoted extremely well. I think it did extremely well for an event. And, the upside of pay-per-view just makes it that much more lucrative. I know DAZN recently instituted a pay-per-view model. Maybe that'll be a financial incentive for Canelo. But fight Charlo. Shut the narrative down that you don't fight young, slick black fighters and just kill him. I mean, if I don't mean kill him I don't want, but just like destroy him in the ring. And shut off the narrative. Because if you fight a Bivol or you fight a Triple G, they're gonna say you're afraid of slick black fighters. I know it's kind of in my opinion, a dumb knock at this point because Canelo is the best boxer in the world. And even the best fighters on the pound for pound list acknowledge that. But it's been out there. Shut it down. Fight Charlo. The fight makes sense. He'll make money. And it's going to be promoted extremely well. So that's all I got to say for today. I'm back recording. Got a bunch of episodes coming. I'm just going to keep getting back into this. Forgive the last episode. I thought it was really good. I re-listened to it. I'm a little rusty. Voice is a little weak. But little by little, getting back into the flow of things. And yeah, it feels good just to be back and recording again. Thank you so much for your patience. And thank you so much for your time. Have a great day and be well.